Welcome to the 2025 Dialogue, a masterclass series by the HR Association of India. I am Neha Jagnani, and today we are getting into this conversation that's not just about leadership, but about companies creating and championing inclusion, equity, and meaningful change. Some leaders drive strategy, others foster culture, but few do both with passion and purpose of our guest today. Welcoming Sonica Aron. Sonica is the founder and CEO of Marching Sheep, transitioning from a solopreneur to leading a thriving team of HR consultants. Her firm serves 300 plus clients across 80 countries and various industries. Sonica is a recognized thought leader in diversity, inclusion, and progressive HR practices, contributing to major publications. She addresses unconventional topics, advocating for issues like menopause inclusion in medical benefits and systemic approach for new mothers. A charismatic speaker at conferences, Sonica believes in the societal connection of organizations and actively engages in non-commercial awareness campaigns. Additionally, she also supports an NGO rehabilitating acid attack survivors in India. Sonica, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you.
It's a pleasure being here, Neha. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Sonica. So, to begin with, you have founded Marching Sheep with a vision to drive respect and equality for all, Sonica. So, I want to know what's that turning point that has sort of inspired you to take that step?
So, Neha, I started Marching Sheep in the year 2013. So, it's been 11 years that I've been running Marching Sheep. And prior to that, I was heading HR for Philips.
Right.
So, I have been on the other side. And see, at that stage, when you're already heading HR for an organization, and I had a conversation with a lot of people. And most of them said that, Sonica, for you now to grow, you will have to step out of India for, diverse geography experience.
Right.
I said, fair enough. Firstly, on a personal front, that was not an option. If I had to continue within India, then it was about becoming a CHRO of a larger organization, then a larger organization.
Right.
60 to 70% of my role would remain the same. So I was craving variety. Also, I wanted to make a tangible difference to people's lives and careers.
Right.
And when I was on the corporate side, I saw that there was a huge gap in the way the organizations were addressing the topic of diversity, equity, and inclusion. At that time, it was one, the narrative was very narrow, it was only women.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was very recruitment forward. It was not inclusion forward. So that was something which was kind of bubbling inside me that, we need to do it differently. We need to create an environment where people nurture diverse talent.
Right.
And I wanted to get into that. So that is how really the seeds of Marching Sheep were sown. And that is where we started. The entire journey started.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that we're still doing that. So I continue to do what I'm passionate about.
Fantastic. It's very intriguing how your personal conviction has sort of turned into a movement rather, that is driving a real change today. Thank you, Sonica. So my next question, Sonica, is, as someone who has worked with leading global organizations like Philips, Vodafone, PepsiCo, I want to know what are some of the key differences that you have observed in the way these companies approach gender diversity and inclusion.
So I think every company goes through their own journey,
Right.
right? And different organizations have different, um, shall we say, levels of maturity, and sometimes within the same organization, different functions, different geographies will have different maturity levels. So you cannot say that, that this is a global MNC, it is a very renowned company. So this will be extremely mature in their journey of inclusion. Now, let's take any global organization. Let's take an industry like FMCG. Within FMCG, there will be a sales department, there would be manufacturing, there would be corporate office, there would be supply chain procurement. Now, your head office or corporate office might be in a place like Bangalore or Gurgaon, where you would have a very different environment. Your manufacturing units would be in upcountry areas where your talent might be very different. The kind of people that you attract will be very different. They come from a very different social ecosystem. Let's look at where the sales branches are. Not all sales branches are in Bombay, Delhi, Ahmedabad, or metros or mini metros. Some of them are in, in small towns in Northeast or in 400 kilometers from Chennai or 300 kilometers from Indore. Now, there again, the ecosystem is very different. It all depends on the kind of people that are there. So different organizations will also have different inclusive cultures
Right.
or maturity of inclusion within the same organization. Now, the question that really arises is that how consistently and continuously are these organizations driving the agenda of inclusion?
Right.
Now, here, a lot of times, the question that arises is that does the leadership understand that inclusion is not a good to do, it is a necessity?
Right.
And if they do not understand that it is a good to do, it is not a good to do, it is a necessity. Because end of the day, what are businesses here for? Businesses are here to sell their products and services to the consumer.
Right.
And the consumer is diverse. Consumer comprises of all genders. If I were to broaden the narrative, it is not just men and women, it also comprises of LGBTQ community. Today, we have such a diverse range of generations. We have people from different disabilities. There are 21 disabilities that the RPWD Act calls out. Our consumer is diverse. So, no business can afford to ignore the fact that whatever you are selling, whether it is a service or whether it is a product, whether you are selling directly to customer or you are selling through a stockist or a distributor or a wholesaler, ultimately it is being bought by somebody who's going to use it. So, every business needs to understand that building an inclusive culture is a no brainer. So if that is understood, then every business will continue to drive inclusive culture across all these, whether it is a sales unit, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is corporate office. And they can't say, okay, I have done it 2 years back and now I'm done. Because your workforce keeps on evolving, it keeps on growing.
Right.
There is attrition that happens, people keep on changing. So you have to continue doing it.
Right.
As you said, that I worked for the best of organizations. At that time, Posh did not exist. Posh came in 2013. I started my career in 2001.
Right.
But even today, when we ask, when we do Posh sessions, and we do not do run of the mill Posh sessions, we do very engaging storytelling kind of sessions.
Right.
And I ask people that what existed before Posh.
Hmm.
Many of them don't know what existed before Posh. It was Vishakha guidelines. But none of the companies that I had the privilege to work on, and I'm very proud of each and every company that I worked for because I learned a lot from them. But none of the companies were making their employees aware of what Vishakha guidelines were all about.
Right.
So, if somebody could not look above my chest when they were talking to me, I had to deal with it on my own because I did not know that something like Vishakha guidelines existed. So I'm saying from then, and I'm talking about 25 years back to now, we have made progress where, we are talking about posh. Posh is mandated, it's an act. Vishakha guidelines was just a guideline. So we have made progress, but I think there is still a lot to be done.
Right, right. It's truly interesting, Sonica, how companies could vary in their approach, especially how you mentioned consistency being a key, irrespective of the organization size. Also, of course, the last point, how things have evolved, the Vishaka guideline bit. So thank you so much for that. That's truly intriguing. My next question, Sonica, is there a woman in your life, personally or professionally, who has inspired you the most? And what kind of impact she has had on your leadership approach?
Hmm. So I don't think there has been one woman. I think at different stages of life, I have had different women. So, for example, when I was a child, I used to really look up to my sister. My sister was married off when she was very young. She was 19 years old. And I recall that and even now, my children call her Terminator Mossy, because she is what I would call a perfect homemaker. She manages her home, she manages her relationships, everybody loves her. She is extremely compassionate and empathetic. So from that perspective, she is my role model, where I think that if I could be even one tenth of her, where she doesn't lose patience even in the most difficult situations, I think I would be a much better person. So she is one of my role models, and she will always be. I call her my second mother, because she's practically brought me up. When I grew up, my mother-in-law, here is a stereotype I'm breaking. My mother-in-law is my role model. She has been a single mom from the age of 32. My husband lost his father when he was 8 years old. My sister-in-law was 1.5 years old. And how she managed to pick up, the broken pieces of her life and give her children, the values that my husband and my sister-in-law have. And when I came into the family, the way she welcomed me into the family like a daughter, and she said, "Ke beta tu kar, तुझे जो करना है कर, and I am standing in front of you like a shield. I will take care of your kids. I will take care of your house. You have to travel 20 days in a month if you have to run marching sheep. मैं हूं ना, तू कर." When my children were born, my mother could not come for whatever reasons. My mother-in-law came and stayed with me. And I still remember when my child was born, as a new mother, my first child was born as a new mother, ये एक insecurity होती है that you have to do everything. So I remember I fed Kabir, and I gave Kabir to Mama, and I said कि मम्मा, अगर ये मैंने feed कर दिया है, and if he wakes up, आप मुझे उठा देना. And she just said one thing to me. She said कि बेटा, सिर्फ तेरा बच्चा नहीं है, हम सबका बच्चा है. तूने फीड कर दिया ना, इसके बाद इसका नैपी हम चेंज कर सकते हैं, इसको बर्प हम करा सकते हैं, इसको सुला सकते हैं, बस फीड हम नहीं कर सकते. सो यू स्लीप, यू नीड योर एनर्जी, यू नीड योर रेस्ट, द रेस्ट विल मैनेज. And trust me, she has stood by me. The last 11 years of building Marching Sheep have not been easy. I've had my ups and downs. And every time I've had a word with her, and she said, "You do what you have to do. I will manage at home." So she is my role model. I've had role models. You said acid attack survivors. Um, when I was doing this campaign 21 Marching, okay, I spoke to the founder of Brave Souls Foundation. And honestly, I did not know, Neha, you will be asking me this question. So I did not prepare for it. But Shaheen Malik came as a speaker in 21 Marching campaign. When I spoke to her, I could feel, and even right now when I'm speaking to you, I'm feeling tingling at the back of my neck. The equanimity with which Shaheen spoke about her experience, what happened to her, the way she went through, the first 2, 3 days, how the police treated her, how she has still not got justice, but she has picked up her life. And today she is helping other attack survivors get medical treatment, get justice, rehabilitating them, getting them education, getting them jobs. To me, I think I wish nothing like this happens to anybody, because this is disability because of somebody's crime. But when I speak to Shaheen, I get strength when she says ना इंशाल्लाह सब ठीक हो जाएगा मैम, आप परेशान क्यों हो रहे हो? उसकी आवाज में ना एक पीस होती है. शी इज माई रोल मॉडल. हम लोग छोटी छोटी चीजों को लेके परेशान होते हैं, उसकी आवाज में एक पीस होती है. सो I think we don't have to look for a celebrity to find a role model. I think there are women around us who give us strength on a regular basis. And these are the women who are our role models, who, who tell us we can be better every day. That to me is a definition of a role model.
Thank you so much, Sonica. Your response was extremely heartwarming. Experiences with your sister, mother-in-law to Shaheen, it purely reflects resilience and selflessness and whatnot, and that only a woman can do. So thank you so much for highlighting those things for me. So, Sonika, you have mentored leaders and you've worked with leaders from across industries. So, I don't know what's one piece of advice that you keep giving to women who look forward to breaking barriers in especially a male-dominated spaces.
Hmm. I tell everyone that I speak with that identify what does success mean to you. It is not about what others expect of you. Define your own success goals and go after those success goals without any guilt, without any feeling of ke, because I'm pursuing this goal, I am letting go of 10 other things. I tell them that in the pursuit of that goal, you need to identify what is negotiable and what is non-negotiable. If something is negotiable, delegate it. Ask somebody else to do it for you. Something which is non-negotiable and is propelling you forward towards your picture of success, उसको आप आंख बंद करके करो.
Right.
So that is what I tell everyone. Everybody's picture of success is different. So I tell them, don't compare yourselves to others. Define your own.
Right.
That's all. That's all I tell them. And I tell them that once you have defined your picture of success, tell the world, this is what I want to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Sonika, that's not just practical and empowering, but it is also the real kind of mindset shift that we all need as women. So, thank you so much for bringing that up. My last question for today, Sonika, for you is if you could implement one radical change in the workplaces worldwide to advance gender equality, what would it be?
Wow. One radical change. Um, I think we have converted diversity, equity, and inclusion into an A versus B, this against the other kind of an approach. I think this should be seen as Humanity versus discrimination. Um, I think if we can build this mindset, we are not saying that we want to advance one set of people against the other. I think diversity, equity, and inclusion is not that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is that every human being, irrespective of their uniqueness, is respected and valued, and we need to create an even playing field so that everyone feels that they have an equal opportunity to win. I think this is what we need to tell people who are today having a backlash towards diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, have you seen a racetrack? In a racetrack, the person who is running on the inside edge and the person who is running on the outside edge, their starting points are never the same.
Right.
And that is because the people who are they basically want all the runners to have the equal running distance. If it was the same starting point, then the person who is running on the outside edge would
Right.
have the longest distance to run.
Right.
Then he can never win. It is not an equal opportunity to win, he or
Right.
she, or right? Now, this is what DEI means, that in your workforce, whether we like it or not, diversity is a fact. People will come from different generations, they will have different life stages. Somebody might be single, somebody might be married, somebody might have kids, somebody might have elderly parents, somebody might be a single parent. Somebody might be belonging to the LGBTQ community. Somebody might have a disability, whether visible or invisible. How can we make sure that they have equal opportunity to succeed?
Right.
That is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when an organization understands that, it is not me versus you, it is you and me making sure that on the racetrack, both of us have equal opportunity to win. That's all. I don't want special treatment. You don't want special treatment. We just want equal opportunity. I think this mindset, if we can build in the organization, in the leaders, I think it will make a world of difference.
Right.
I will say one more thing, Neha. You know, sometimes people think that diversity, equity, and inclusion costs a lot of money. Okay. It actually doesn't. Think of a company which has a turnover of 1,000 crores. If we spend a few lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs on making infrastructure changes, it's a drop in the ocean.
Right.
Right now, we are thinking from the point of view of saying, oh, we will be hiring new people who might have a disability. Oh, we might be hiring someone who might need them. But you know what? All of us are TAPs, temporarily abled people. Not everybody is born with a disability. God forbid, what if I meet with an accident and become wheelchair bound, or I become um, amputated and locomotor disabled? Will a company terminate my employment because now I am a disabled person and because there are no ramps or there is no washroom which is for people with disability? As we age, my eyesight might become weaker, my hearing might become weaker, I might get Parkinson's. These are all covered in the 21 disabilities,
Right.
right? So, when we create inclusive workplaces, it benefits everyone.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we are not doing any one section a favor. We are doing we are doing ourselves a favor, actually.
Right.
Right? That's all I wanted to say.
Sure.
Sorry
That's
if I've taken more time than
not at all, not at all, Sonika. I'm so glad you brought in these perspectives. Truly a game-changing insight, I must say. If you rethink about these norms at that level, it can actually reshape the future of work and things can evolve. And as you rightly said, that we are not doing a favor to anybody. It's just a favor to humanity. It's a pure human nature that we should be putting first and not just, the tick in the box or from the compliance perspective. It has to be a must do and it can truly be a game changer. So thank you so much, Sonika, for that. So this brings us to the end of this masterclass. It was a pleasure having you today, hearing your perspectives and insights. I'm sure our audience are truly going to benefit from this masterclass. So thank you so much for joining.
thank you so much for the opportunity. And I do hope that some of what I have said resonates with the audience. So thank
Absolutely.
you once again.
Absolutely. I'm sure it will do, Sonika. I'll just have a quick note to our listeners. Thank you for tuning into this masterclass. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Until we meet next time, keep inspiring and innovating. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonika.
Thank you.